Hey you guys, this is TsubakiSwagg and I'm coming to you with my review of Akame Got Killed episode 13, Kill the Nuisances. So, as the title portrays, this episode is a little focused around the new danger beasts that have been spotted, which they showed in the last episode, which were the creatures that came into the mine and ate the people that were working in the mines. So, this episode, we come back and they're talking about we have to find the danger beast. The king or the emperor of the capital was talking to Esdeath, and he pretty much said that because the Jaegers have been in the capital, blah blah blah, everything has been good. They haven't even seen Night Ray lately because of Jaeger. So he was indebted to Esdeath, and then he was like, he still can't find the person that she describes that she wants to fall in love with. And she was like, well, I already found the person, he's just not here. And then she went in to say that when he was like, well, you can't fall in love if y'all aren't together. And she was like, well, I'm passionate about finding him, so isn't that a part of love? And it was just all sweet and gooey and everything. So anyways, Esdeath talks to the minister later on, and he tells her that there are danger beasts within the capital. And they showed a part where this girl, and it looked like either her father or her husband, were inside of their house, and he was telling her there have been danger beasts spotted out in the woods, don't go out after dark by yourself. And then literally they just bust through the house, and he tries to shoot them and they eat him. She cowers in fear, and then they eat her too, of course. So it's very, very gruesome. I kind of wish they would have showed it. That would have been awesome. But just neither here nor there. So Esdeath was like, well, I've been looking into this myself, so I am looking forward to trying to hunt these danger beasts down and figure out why they're here, what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. So she is going to assemble Jaeger to go and track down some danger beasts, and she's going to capture a few because the minister was like, well, we're supposed to kill them, but I want to study them like the creep he is. So she was like, well, I'll capture at least 3. So they go out and they show another group. There's a caravan trying to get into the main capital, within the walls. Kind of reminds me of Attack on Titan, but they were trying to get within the walls, and those danger beasts just literally come up out of nowhere, and they are about to be attacked when Bowles comes up and literally just burns them to death, and the other ones run away. Esdeath captures them. Chrome decided that she found them delicious looking, so she started drooling, and Esdeath told her she can't eat them, and she looked hurt. So after all of that, the people that Bowles saved freaked out because they thought that he was going to kill them because of his appearance, and then Suryu came up and they were okay. And Wave felt some type of way about this, but later on, after all of that was finished, Wave and Chrome were sitting at a table, and Bowles brought them food, and Bowles asked Wave what was wrong, and he told him that it's messed up because Bowles is so nice, and he really is a nice person, but because of his appearance, the men automatically assumed that he was going to hurt them, which I can understand, and then I can't in ways, because he really is a nice person, but you wouldn't know that until you got to know him. But Wave literally had the same reaction when he first met him, so Wave can't get too mad because he did the same exact thing that they did when he first met Bowles. So even Chrome mentioned this, and Wave was like, whatever, it's still not the case. So Bowles went on to tell us a little bit about himself. We find out that he burned the whole village to the ground because they were plagued with the disease. He burned a person at the stake, even though they were pleading their innocence. He still burned them because those were his orders, and that's his job, is to do that. So even though he is a nice person, he's done bad things, and he feels like that makes him a bad person. And then his wife and his daughter come in, and they are so cute. His daughter is so precious, and then his wife is so pretty. You wouldn't expect them to be with him, which goes back to people judging him by his appearance. But his wife is so freaking pretty, and they were awesome. They came in, they were she was like, you left your lunch that we made for you, blah, 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 and he got all happy and giggly, and then he was like, well, even though all the bad things I've done, they know everything I've done, but they still cheer me on anyways, and because of that, I can be perfectly fine. And he was like shining bright like a diamond. And Wade was like, it's so bright, is this love? And then Crowmay is so freaking cute. I love Crowmay. If she wasn't part of Jaeger, she'd be freaking awesome. But Crowmay is just so precious. But after all of that, we go back to Night Raid, and Night Raid is talking. Tatsumi was like training with Sue, and Sue tells him that regardless of how strong something is, it always has a weakness. And he was talking to him, and finally I think Sue is starting to get the gist that he is actually part of their group. He's not just considered Imperial Arms, he's actually like a part of Night Raid. So they had a little bonding moment, and then like they moved to a new hideout, and first Lubbock was like, he set up a perimeter, and Agenda was like, that's great. And then Sue came up, and he was like, I dug a tunnel, and she just praised him, and Lubbock felt some type of way. So then later on that day, after they get everything situated, we find out why Lubbock addresses Agenda as Miss Agenda and not boss, because when he was younger and he lived within the capital, he was like rich and he got everything he wanted. I'm paraphrasing. He was rich and got everything he wanted, and then he saw an Agenda when she got assigned to his part of the town, and he joined the army and worked his way through the ranks just so he could be close to her because he was in love with her. And then when she left, he left. Like period. And he pretty much made it seem that he died so that way nobody would come looking for him. So yeah. So now, hopefully, maybe one day, maybe Lubbock will be able to get to an Agenda. And Tatsumi felt some type of way about that because Lubbock always be trying to peep on people, but he's supposedly supposed to be in love with Agenda. So anyways, Tatsumi said his mouthful, Lubbock said his mouthful. Then they decided that they were going to split up, and if you found a danger beast, he was going to flee, and then they would attack together. So, Tatsumi, someone, please explain to me how it is possible that Tatsumi just so happened to jump on top of an empty plateau by himself, takes off his incrucio so that way his face is seen, and freaking Esdeath just so happened to be flying overhead on her dragon, and just so happens to see his shadow, not the person. She just so happens to see his shadow. Jumps down there, and there's Esdeath and Tatsumi again. Really? How is that even freaking possible? That's not possible. I know I'm not going crazy. That is nowhere near a coincidence. Anyways, so that happens. Esdeath finally sees Tatsumi again, and Tatsumi flips out on the inside. Esdeath, and then of course, on top of all of that, they get attacked by danger beasts. The danger beasts, they get attacked by them, and Esdeath just takes them out in one go. Like, Esdeath is just that freaking awesome. And she was like, finally, Tatsumi, we're together again. And that was the end of the freaking episode. It was like, seriously. And on top of that, I forgot to mention that they showed the villain from last week, the end of last week's episode, again, when Jaeger was fighting the danger beast, and he was like, I'm gonna have some more time to play with my puppets or something like that. And we also find out that it's a possibility that the new danger beasts that have been shown might have been created by Dr. Stylish. And I am almost positive that the new villain that has been introduced into the show is the one who let them out, because they were like, either how could they could have either escaped or they could have been released. So I'm thinking that the new villain that has been introduced is the one who released the danger beast experiments that Dr. Stylish made from their cages. So that's another thing, another plot twist. So this episode is pretty freaking awesome. I enjoyed watching it, of course, because there was like blood and guts and shit like that. So as always, I would love to hear how you guys felt about this episode. I'm sorry for all my escapades, because I was pretty hyped about this episode. But as always, Please remember to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. It helps me out a whole lot. And this is TsubakiSwagg.